Hello and welcome to this special edition of ONTV News. Throughout 2014, Orion area residents created fond memories as they took part in numerous Lake Orion traditions, including fundraisers, concerts, parades, and of course the Orion Art Center's Dragon on the Lake Festival. The Chamber of Commerce welcomed many new businesses into the community, and Lake Orion's Village Hall underwent a major change. On the morning of New Year's Day 2014, approximately 140 hardcore runners assembled in downtown Lake Orion for the start of the 14th annual Resolution Run. At race time, the temperature dipped to 9 degrees. The race acts as a fundraiser for the Lake Orion DDA. The first person to cross the finish line was Lake Orion's own Clint Varon, who took part in the Resolution Run for the first time.
The mentality to get out of bed on New Year's Day and run when it's real cold, it's, I think there's probably something wrong with most of these people. I don't know why they're here and out in the streets. It's cold outside. I see guys wearing shorts. I think there's probably something wrong with most of these people. The feels like temperature is like -1. But if you're running really hard, sometimes you don't feel quite as cold. It's a beautiful downtown Lake Orion, so how can you go wrong on New Year's Day? It's awesome.
During the first weekend in January, the Orion area received more than a foot of snow, followed by temperatures that got as low as -20 degrees. One local landmark became a casualty of the extreme winter weather. At approximately 7 p.m. on Sunday, January 5th, the Wagon Wheel Tavern located at 102 South Broadway in the Village partially collapsed under the weight of the snow. The rest of the building had to be demolished. According to Orion Township records, the building was built in 1930 and over the next several decades housed a hardware store, a nightclub, and a roller skating rink. The owner of Sagebrush Cantina, Dia Zaraga, also owned the Wagon Wheel building, which had been closed for several years and was empty when it collapsed. Plans were underway to renovate the building. The future of the location is currently up in the air. Throughout the year, the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce welcomes new businesses into the community with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. 2014's first ceremony took place at Rub-a-Dub Dogs Pet Grooming on Baldwin Road. On January 15th, Chamber representatives were on hand to welcome owner Amber Larry, who is a lifelong Lake Orion resident. In January, it was announced that the Always Christmas building at Canterbury Village had been sold. Opened to the public in October of 1993 by Stan and Sue Aldridge, the 80,000 square foot building sold Christmas decorations and ornaments year-round. As business slowed over the past few years, management began exploring other options for the building. In 2010, Woodside Bible Church expressed interest in the building. An offer was made and accepted in November 2013.
Well, this made a lot of sense. Christmas retail is very difficult, and when you got an offer on the table to take all 80,000 square feet, it's pretty hard to walk away from that. It's kind of a slam dunk. Obviously, when my dad opened this up in '93, retail was much different. The Christmas buyer, the traditional Christmas buyer, was still very strong, and Great Lakes Crossing was not down the street yet. Then in '98, Great Lakes Crossing opened up. All the manufacturers of Christmas started selling to big box retailers, and the specialty Christmas shops are the ones who suffered, and it's a difficult business.
The building and its parking lot were included in the deal, forcing the Lake Orion Lions to find a new location for their annual Jubilee. The Always Christmas store moved into a smaller 12,000 square foot building that formerly housed the Haymaker restaurant. Woodside is hoping to open the 800-seat church to the public in time for Easter 2015. Perhaps the biggest story of the year involved the sale of Village Hall in downtown Lake Orion. In January, the Village invited area businesses to make a bid on the historic building that once housed Town Hall and the fire department.
There's a couple reasons why we are considering moving 2 blocks north to the church building. The first one is that we are in desperate need of space. As you can see from looking through Village Hall, we are very cramped in this facility. The police department especially has woefully inadequate facilities to be able to do what they need to do. The building on Church Street has a lot more space to it, has a lot more opportunity for us to expand and to provide adequate workspace, both for administration as well as for our police operations.
The village later approved a proposal from Lockhart's Barbecue, who promised to retain the building's character during renovations. Village offices were moved to a temporary location on Lapeer Road while the Union Church undergoes renovations. The building on Church Street will become the new home of village offices when renovations are complete, possibly in March 2015. Lockhart's Barbecue hopes to open its new location in late spring 2015. On Saturday, February 8th, ONTV hosted its 4th annual food drive benefiting Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. The 5 or 5 food drive was broadcast live from the ONTV studio from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and invited residents to drop off 5 food items or $5 to earn a raffle ticket for a variety of prizes. Prior to the event, area businesses set up food collection boxes, which were delivered to the studio on the day of the food drive. Approximately 5,000 pounds of food was collected, including $800 in cash donations, which helped feed hungry families in the Oxford Orion area.
A very gracious thank you to the entire community. We are supported by no group, church or whatever, strictly the community, and we have, praise God, been very fortunate in having our needs met strictly through the community, which is good to us.
On Wednesday, February 12th, Oakland County Executive L. Brooks Patterson delivered his 20th State of the County address. Patterson showed significant progress as he recovered from injuries he sustained in a car accident in 2012. He told the crowd in attendance that the economy was showing signs of improvement following the recession that peaked in 2009, although property values were still 6 to 10 years away from reaching 2007 levels.
We finished the last fiscal year, 2013, with a $243 million surplus. Now, you take the current delinquent tax revolving fund of $207 million cash, and you add that 243, you see that Oakland County is in pretty good financial shape.
On Saturday, March 1st, members of the community gathered at Addison Oaks to support the arts in Lake Orion. The Orion Art Center's gala is its largest fundraiser of the year. In its 25th year, the event had a Mardi Gras theme, and hundreds of attendees showed up in colorful masks. And the North Oakland Dixieland Band contributed to the festive atmosphere. In addition to ticket sales, money was raised through raffle baskets and silent auctions, with items donated from local businesses and the community, including a trip to New Orleans.
The Art Center this year will be 35 years old, and this gala is actually our silver anniversary gala. It's been going on for 25 years. And, I like to say in this fleeting day and age where, you have so much digital technology and everything, it's really a tribute to the longevity and the dedication to arts in this community. And all of these people are here tonight to support the Orion Art Center, to support our exhibits, our scholarships, our competition, our community outreach, and of course our wonderful festival, Dragon on the Lake.
Each year at the event, the Art Center recognizes 2 individuals from the Lake Orion art community. Named 2014's Patron of the Year was volunteer and board member Brenda Pesha, and named 2014's Artist of the Year was Laura Locke. Representatives of the Chamber of Commerce gathered at Crate's Coffee House on M24 to welcome the locally owned business to the community. Owned by Brian and Andrea Rank of Oxford, the business quietly opened its doors on January 16th, but celebrated its official grand opening on Tuesday, March 11th.
The chamber has been absolutely wonderful. We couldn't do half of it without them. It's been a blessing having them by our side and help promoting us and getting the word out for us.
On Saturday, March 15th, the Orion Township Public Library hosted its 29th annual Battle of the Books at Scripps Middle School. 241 fifth graders formed 53 teams representing 8 different Lake Orion schools. Each team spent several months reading 14 different books assigned by the library and were quizzed by library staff.
I am seeing kids that love to read or are rediscovering that they love to read, and it just thrills me.
Well, I hope that they have the camaraderie of working together towards being a team and learning from each other, but I also hope that they can inspire themselves to continue reading. It doesn't matter what they read. One thing I love about the battle is that the staff pick books from a variety of genres. We've got nonfiction, poetry, fiction, fantasy, and so there's something in that group that they're going to love, and hopefully they discovered something new. Maybe they discovered something that they've never read before, and I hope that that continues as they go forth.
At a ceremony at Lake Orion High School on March 18th, awards were handed out to participants. With a perfect score of 100, it was announced the Native Nerds representing Paint Creek Elementary was the winner of the 2014 Battle of the Books. On Wednesday, March 19th, approximately 25 vendors set up shop at the Orion Center for Orion Township's Growing Green Expo and Recycle event. The event was created in 2010 and was held at Canterbury Village to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Earth Day. In 2012, it was relocated to the Orion Center and moved up to coincide with the first day of spring. The event was free to the public.
So today we're having the annual Growing Green Expo and Recycle event. We have a number of local vendors that are helping you learn how to green your home, green your yard, green your pantry, tune into green living. We also have the recycling portion of the event. We're recycling eyeglasses, hearing aids, batteries, light bulbs, scrap metal, electronics, anything like that. Oh, styrofoam we added this year, so we're recycling styrofoam as well. So we have all of that collection going on, and that is all happening today.
On March 28th, representatives of Orion Township as well as the Chamber of Commerce gathered at the location of the former Arby's restaurant on M24 to break ground on an exciting new project. Dr. Brad Greenfield was moving forward with plans to open a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art medical facility that will cater to the community's dental needs. The existing building, which closed to the public in 2012, was demolished on April 1st.
To be honest with you, I'm nervous. This is my first time ever doing anything like this, so I'm nervous. But I'm very excited. I hardly slept last night. I'm going to be honest. I got things running through my head, ideas. I'm really excited. The community's been great to me. My patients have been great to me. They have been big fans and big supporters.
On Saturday, March 29th, Orion Township hosted the 5th annual Bunny Bath at the Orion Center. The event has been a tradition in Lake Orion since 2010, when it was held at Friendship Park and later moved into the village in 2012. In its second year at the Orion Center, the event was sold out with more than 100 kids taking part. Throughout the morning, the kids were treated to donuts and arts and craft projects, invited to participate in an indoor Easter egg hunt, and even interact with live bunnies. Of course, the highlight of the day was the photo opportunity with the Easter Bunny himself. On Friday, April 4th, Orion warrior princess Elena Zalik returned to her home after spending several months in C.S. Mott Children's Hospital battling leukemia. The Walden Middle School 7th grader has become wheelchair-bound due to complications from chemotherapy, so the community banded together to make her home more accessible. Tragically, Elena succumbed to her condition on November 17th, bringing grief to friends, family, and community members who rallied around her. On Friday, April 11th, ONTV recognized its producers and volunteers during a banquet held at Kings Court Castle. ONTV Executive Director Ian Locke emceed the event and expressed his gratitude for a productive year.
Well, today's event is the Orion Neighborhood Television Annual Volunteer Banquet. and we're here to just kind of celebrate ONTV and the volunteers that really make it happen for us. If we don't have our volunteers, we don't have an organization. So tonight is just kind of ONTV giving back to our volunteers to say a big, big thank you for all of the hard work they put in, all the programming they produce to really make ONTV what it is.
Named 2014's Volunteers of the Year were Kevin McCormick and Sue Lovelace. George Sinnott and Evelyn Doyle were named Producers of the Year for their work on the series Active Living. And recognized as Intern of the Year was anchor and reporter extraordinaire Kayla Brandon.
I was really shocked. I mean, I know I've been a volunteer. I consider myself a volunteer for 2 years now. And I just do it because I love ONTV, I love this community, and it's been great to hone my storytelling skills. But I never thought that I'd ever be recognized for it, because I just do it because I love what I do.
On Saturday, April 12th, township representatives were joined by area families at Friendship Park to dedicate a brand new playground to replace an existing structure that has begun showing its age. The new play area features a rock climbing wall, a bridge, swings, and much more. A contest invited area school children to submit names for the playground. Of the 146 submissions, the township chose Dragon's Den as the playground's new name.
It's awesome. I mean, when I pulled in and saw all the kids playing on this playground, it's more than I imagined. It's great. It's really awesome to see it come full circle.
We're very excited to have this finally come, be complete. We've had an amazing team of staff that's worked around the clock. Adam Peelish, David Crabtree, Mike McDonald. It's just unbelievable. So, I mean, we had our old play structure, and with the board support and the community, to see it removed, all the donations coming through to help out to build this beautiful structure that we can have for a long time. Very happy with it.
Later that day, a severe storm passed through Lake Orion. The storm produced hail and winds up to 70 miles per hour, uprooting trees and downing power lines. The storm was caught on video by Lake Orion resident Andrew Audish. More than 300 volunteers responded to Orion Township's request for help to clean up damage following the storm. Luckily, no deaths or injuries were reported. On the evening of Saturday, April 26th, visitors to the Orion Township Library were transported to an evening in Rome. In its second year, the Passport to Spring fundraiser was organized by the Friends of the Township Library to support its many programs.
Without the money from the Friends, we wouldn't be able to do the programs that we do at the library. We're just about to start to kick off our summer reading program on June 7th. That entire program is funded by the Friends of the Library, so we wouldn't be able to have a summer reading program if we didn't have the Friends doing this fundraising for us.
Lake Orion's own 51 North Brewing Company entered several beers into the World Beer Cup held every 2 years in Denver, Colorado. Head brewer Adam Barada attended the event in April and was stunned to learn that his Windwalker English Brown Ale had won its category, beating out 49 other entries.
I can't really say that on TV, but it was definitely extreme excitement. At first, I didn't really catch it. I heard the name, I seen the name, but until I seen 51 North actually on the screen, I didn't believe that Windwalker was actually mine. I just kind of guessed that maybe it was somebody else's. I think just being in the moment was probably the most difficult part because I didn't expect it. You never expect to win a medal, but when you do, try to be as humble as possible, and it was just overwhelmed.
Well, most of the other beer competitions are regional in flavor. It'll be a Michigan-based one or perhaps a Midwest one. This is the only true global event that exists. It only happens every 2 years. So this literally is the Olympics for the brewery industry, period, done. And when you come out of a medal like this, literally we are known now throughout the world. Our name is out there throughout the world. Say 51 North, probably no one knows where we are from, but here we are nonetheless. So it really is a prestigious award, and so for the next 2 years, I can tell everybody that we make the best English brown beer in the world.
On Thursday, May 8th, more than 100 vendors set up shop in the high school's gymnasium to take part in the 10th annual Community Business Expo. The event was organized by the Chamber of Commerce with assistance from the Lake Orion High School marketing students from the DECA Club. More than 1,000 visitors passed through the event, which coincides with the high school's spring parent-teacher conferences.
As an exhibitor, the goal is to connect them with the community. Our job as a chamber is to showcase our members to the community and help them connect with the community. So what we hope is that they are finding some good contacts and good clients here this evening.
Many vendors offered free food samples, and 4 area pizza restaurants competed in the Pizza Wars event. Visitors tasted samples from 4 competitors. It was announced that Chicago Brothers was named the winner of the 2014 Pizza Wars.
It means a lot. They know their pizza. It's good pizza. But credit to the girls that are working for me, Mackenzie and Alexis. Did a good job, and the guys made the pizzas back at the store. They're busy tonight. So for them to help us out, get the pizzas here on time, worked out good. All my employees are on board with consistency and promptness on pickups, deliveries, and top quality. Perfect product. Preach it every day. Perfect product, and that's what we got.
The Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority hosted its 14th annual Flower and Art Fair in the village over Mother's Day weekend, giving area residents a chance to pick up something nice for Mom. 65 vendors lined the streets of downtown Lake Orion on Friday and Saturday, offering everything from plants and flowers to home improvement, materials, and art. Things got a little wet and windy on Friday, but visitors came out in droves on Saturday to enjoy a beautiful, sunny spring day.
It brings so many people downtown, and these people are not only shopping with our vendors that we have here, but they're shopping in our businesses, they're eating in our restaurants, they're coming back, they're telling their friends about some of the great things we have down here. So in that way, it really benefits the DDA.
Among the food vendors at the event was Lockhart's Barbecue, who will be opening up a second location in the Village Hall building in 2015.
It's nice. It gets us down here to meet some of the people. I've gotten to meet a lot of the council and DDA and a lot of the people that actually own businesses here. So they're looking forward to us coming down. It's nice to put faces to them already.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
The second annual Family Fun Color Run was held on Saturday, May 10th, and more than 350 participants came out to walk or run the course laid out through Friendship Park in Orion Township. Along the way, participants were dusted in colored cornstarch and ended up looking like walking rainbows. Families were also invited to stick around after the event to enjoy a petting zoo, refreshments, and family fun. Money raised through registration fees helped the North Oakland Community Coalition fund its programs and services throughout the year.
The North Oakland Community Coalition, we focus on the prevention of underage drinking, substance use, and decreasing mental health stigma in the Lake Orion area. And with the funds that we make from things like this color run, actually go directly back into the community by being able to provide different prevention programs, by going into the schools. We've got a youth coordinator, we've got a teen group, we've got a middle school group, and all those things require money so that they're more effective. So we actually put it right back. I believe it's 91 cents of every dollar that the coalition brings in goes right back into Lake Orion.
On Saturday, May 10th, postal customers across the country were asked to leave non-perishable food items in their bags at their mailboxes. Letter carriers then collected the donations along their routes and brought them back to the post office. The food drive collects approximately 25,000 to 30,000 pounds of food, which benefits the Fish Food Pantry in Oxford. The Stamp Out Hunger food drive helps supplement the food's pantry shelves for 2 to 3 months. On the morning of Sunday, May 18th, 200 runners and walkers assembled at the Orion Center for the start of the 18th annual Dragon Dash 5K event. The course was originally laid out to send participants along the safety path on Joslyn Road, but road construction forced organizers to make last-minute changes. Instead, runners and walkers headed out onto the Pollyant Trail to Township Hall and back to the Orion Center. Finishing first overall was 53-year-old Steve Schmidt of Orion Township. The first female to cross the finish line was 14-year-old Alexandra Gladding of Clarkston. The event acts as a fundraiser for the township's community program department. Later that same day, more than 200 basset hounds from across the country and their loved ones gathered in Orion Township for the Great American Basset Waddle. Several days of activities culminated with a parade throughout the grounds of Canterbury Village on Sunday. There was a costume contest that encouraged participants to dress as characters from the Flintstones. And money raised during the event helps Michigan Basset Rescue with their expenses. The event moved to Orion Township from Birmingham in 2011.
We raise all the money goes to rescue basset hounds. Every breed does have a rescue. We choose basset hounds, and it just grows every year, and it's awesome. It just helps the vet bills. Our vet bills run around $50,000 a year.
On Wednesday, May 21st, more than 40 vendors set up shop in the Orion Center for the 7th annual North Oakland Caregivers and Senior Expo. Visitors were treated to information ranging from health and wellness to housing for retirees. At the event, Beaumont Health Systems promoted its permanent wellness center, established at the Orion Center to meet the needs of visiting seniors.
These vendors here for our seniors to make their life easier. There's a multitude of different things you can go to. Maybe things in your bathroom that a contractor will give you a 20% discount on, that nobody else will do that for our seniors. So the people we've invited in are to make their life easier.
On Thursday, May 22nd, the Orion Area Chamber scheduled 2 back-to-back ribbon cutting ceremonies for 2 businesses that shared the building vacated by Blockbuster Video earlier in the year. Art Van's Pure Sleep mattress store celebrated its grand opening, followed immediately by the grand opening of Jersey Mike's Subs. The sandwich maker originated in New Jersey in 1956 and has quickly become part of Lake Orion's community. Memorial Day fell on Monday, May 26th. Lake Orion residents honored those whose lives were lost in battle with several events. The day started off with a wreath ceremony to remember those lost at sea. Later, residents lined the streets in the village for a parade that featured veterans and community organizations. The holiday wrapped up with a moving ceremony at the Orion Veterans Memorial on M24. On Saturday, May 31st, 450 participants formed 36 teams to take part in the annual Relay for Life event at Friendship Park. Following an opening ceremony, team members began to circle a course through the park for a 24-hour period. Not only did teams begin raising funds long before the event, but also organized games and auctions to raise additional funds to aid the American Cancer Society in the battle against all forms of cancer.
So the teams come out and they camp for an evening. It's 24 hours, and then there's the idea is that it's a relay, so someone's on the track at all times. But that doesn't always happen, and we understand that. So just to come out and have fun, and then fundraise for a cure. So.
The Orion Township Public Library kicked off its summer reading program on a beautiful Saturday, June 7th, with a fun event. Participants were encouraged to read throughout the summer and keep track of their progress. Various prizes were handed out as incentives when the program came to an end in August. While that was going on, Orion Township hosted its annual Closet Cleanout. Originally held at Friendship Park, the event moved to the Orion Center in 2013. 40 sellers purchased space in the parking lot, offering bargains on clothing, furniture, collectibles, and more. The event was free to the public, but seller fees helped fund community programs and events. Later that same day, several Jets Pizza customers received a surprise when placing their order. For the second year in a row, the Orion Township Fire Department teamed up with Jets for a special promotion to deliver pizzas while also delivering an important message about smoke detectors.
So it's real simple. So we'll have people call into Jets and order pizza just like they normally would. We select an address at random and we drive to their house with the fire engine. We walk up and we ask them if they're okay with us doing an at-home fire inspection, which just encompasses us, the fire department, giving a test of their smoke detectors. If all of them work in the home, their entire order is free. If one doesn't work, they still have to pay, but we will install a 10-year sealed smoke detector in its place.
As the school year came to an end, the seniors at Lake Orion High School bid farewell to classmates and teachers as they collected their diplomas during graduation. 555 members of the class of 2014 assembled for the last time at DTE Energy Music Theater on Tuesday, June 10th. Senior class president Craig Matola offered a few parting words and then led his classmates in the turning of the tassel ceremony.
Class of 2014, would you please stand? You may now turn your tassel from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present you the graduates of Class of 2014. Congratulations! Woo!
With the sound of the bell, the Lake Orion Farmers Market officially kicked off its 2014 season on Wednesday, June 18th. It was the first year the Orion Art Center took over managing duties from the DDA. Vendors offered a wide variety of fresh produce every Wednesday from 2 to 7 p.m. through October 22nd.
I'm really excited about this first day of the market, and despite the weather, we still have a really great turnout of people here and activities going on. And I was really excited at 2 o'clock. I rang a new bell that we have here, and I'll be ringing that hourly and at the close of the market. So if you're in the area and hear that, remember to come down to the market.
The Lions Club Jubilee is a Lake Orion tradition that goes back several decades. Traditionally, the event was held in the village during 4th of July weekend, but in 2009, the event was forced to find a new location due to major renovations in the downtown area. In 2014, the event returned to the village to the delight of Lake Orion residents. The Lions Club Jubilee kicked off on the evening of Thursday, June 19th, with larger opening day crowds than the event has experienced in recent years. The Jubilee returned to the village following the sale of Always Christmas at Canterbury Village. Skirbeck Brothers returned to provide the carnival rides, games, and food, with a portion of the proceeds generated going toward the Lions Club and its charitable efforts. The event ran through Sunday, June 22nd.
Well, the last few years we've been over on Joslyn at Canterbury Village, and although Keith and the crew at Canterbury Village has been very helpful, and we've really appreciated their cooperation and hospitality, we think that being back downtown, we've had a lot of reception on Facebook and on our website, and people are talking about it all over town. Just the tradition of having it back downtown where it belongs, And when you're driving north on Lapeer Road, you look down the angled street of Broadway and you see this giant Ferris wheel, and it's just, we think, going to attract so much more attention from people out of town, people heading toward Lapeer and Ortonville and things like that, that we think we're going to get a lot more attendance this year than we have.
We had to leave Canterbury. We looked at other possible locations, but the village had wanted us to come back, and the downtown area is beautiful now with the new streetscape project, so it was a natural fit.
Returning to the Jubilee after an 18-year absence was the Beer Tent. The 80 by 80 tent housed food and entertainment throughout the weekend. Traditionally, the Beer Tent had always been the Lions Club's largest fundraiser.
The beer tent this year should really help us out. We haven't had it for many years, and I'm looking to make sure that we have a nice budget for our charities going into the next year, be able to support them even more. The Leader Dog for the blind and the Bear Lake Camp for blind and disabled children. That's up in north of Lapeer. So we're looking forward to having a very good budget this year to help out more people than ever before.
Perhaps the highlight of the weekend was a spectacular fireworks display over Lake Orion on Saturday night. The Lions Club raised $13,000 in 2 weeks to make the show possible. Crowds began to gather along M24 and in Greens Park around 9 p.m. The show got a late start with the first shell launched from a barge on the lake at 10:30 p.m., but it was worth the wait. The 20-minute show generated oohs and ahs from those who lined the shores of Lake Orion. On Wednesday, July 2nd, the Lake Orion Fireworks Association invited area veterans to enjoy a 3-hour cruise on the lake on the Grand Princess. The double-decker boat was docked at Pelton's Point, where veterans were able to hop on board.
So we, the Lake Orion Fireworks Association, said we're going to donate the boat for one day. And then I went out and talked to Sagebrush Cantina, and I talked to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they donated all the food that you see. So we got tons of food, we got everybody's happy, beautiful night for a ride, and that's in honor of our vets.
In July of 2014, it was announced that the historic Eman Center was under new ownership. Built in 1927, the building has served as Lake Orion's second school, housing grades K through 12 for 30 years. The 2-story, 35,000 square foot building has 25 classrooms and a gymnasium. Over the years, the building housed the school's district's adult education and latchkey programs. Lake Orion resident Wendy Patton purchased the building in 2001, allowing the Boys and Girls Clubs to occupy the building until 2006. And Love Inc. utilized space in the building until 2008. Over the past few years, the historic building has sat unused, and Oakland County took over ownership following a tax foreclosure in 2013. Now a group of investors calling themselves Legacy LO purchased the building with a major plan to develop classrooms into residential units, while maintaining the charm of the exterior. There's even a proposal to convert the gymnasium into a restaurant.
And I'm going to give the village and the DDA so much credit, because do they like to look at a school that's, old and dilapidated? No. But the ideas that were before this were worn out ideas. People, they just didn't feel like that's going to revive this downtown. And so that's when we all thought about the city-style lofts and bringing, a demographic to the village. They loved it, and they really were incredible. In helping us get the school. We are really pumped about going through the whole process of working with the folks for the approvals. We're in the process of looking at 3 or 4 historical architects that can help us really, position the asset accordingly. There's a lot of work to do. We've got to raise a lot of money.
Legacy LO is made up of the Lake Orion residents whose goals is to improve Lake Orion. Representatives met at the site and gave us a tour of the building. They were joined by DDA Executive Director Suzanne Perot, who told us she's excited by the news.
I think the vision that this group has on what it can become is a great redevelopment and reuse project, and it's wonderful being within the DDA district and just a little bit north of downtown. I think it can really activate a lot of other excitement in our community.
On Saturday, July 9th, a dozen bands performed during the 2nd annual Wildwood Music Festival, with the Beta Band kicking off things at 10:30 a.m. and the Boa Constrictors bringing things to a close at 8 p.m. Other performers included Band of Brothers, We Three and She, and Rochester School of Rock. In addition to live music, there were family-friendly activities and games, food and refreshments.
This has been tremendous. Imagine a beautiful sunny summer day, you bring your favorite lawn chair out, and every half an hour to an hour you get to hear another local band play. It's super exciting live music, and we've got great food. We've got grilled hamburgers, Jets Pizza, Buffalo Wild Wings, cold drinks, and of course the Lions Club is doing the pig roast. So this is a great day at Wildwood. Good music, good food, just a really good time to be outside.
In 2013, the event was created to be a showcase for local talent, but in its 2nd year, organizers partnered with the Lake Orion Lions Club. Admissions to the event was free to the public, but the Lions Club raised money from a beer tent and a pig roast, serving pork dinners and sandwiches to raise money for their charitable efforts in the community. On Saturday, July 12th, 8 teams of 4 reunited at Vandenboom Field for the 8th official Lake Orion Wiffle Ball Association tournament.
In about 2010, which was our 3rd or 4th tournament, I believe, we decided, because we were having so many family, friends, co-workers, a bunch of people were coming, we decided, with all these people, we could try to turn it into a fundraiser. So
A draft night charity dinner was held the night before at the Orion Center. Tickets and a silent auction raised $14,000 to benefit 3 charities, including the Orion Veterans Memorial, which has received over $10,000 from the association over the past 5 years. The tournament began at 10 a.m. on Saturday with 8 teams representing each branch of the military, as well as 3 charities benefiting from the event. After facing double elimination, it came down to 2 teams representing the Army and the Coast Guard to face off in the championship game. After 5 innings of intense competition, the team representing the Army was named 2014's LOA tournament champion, defeating their rivals by a score of 18-6. Rick Vandenboom, who flew in from Alaska to take part, was named tournament MVP. On Saturday, July 19th, Orion Township's Wildwood Amphitheater was the site of Elo-Palooza, a day-long concert featuring 5 different bands, including Trippin' Dixies, Bad Aim, Shot Down, Square Pegs, and the Red Rider Band. Visitors paid $10 at the gate, and a beer tent, t-shirt sales, and concessions helped bring in additional money. The organizers' goal was to raise $10,000 to bring them closer to their goal of $50,000 for Let Them Play, a special needs playground at Friendship Park.
This is an amazing response to the fact that we're building this new playground, Let Them Play. And since we've announced that, we've had all kinds of different groups. Christy Shones came to us, and talk about someone with energy, she's got it. And so she came up with this idea we should have a concert. I was a little leery because I know how much work goes into one of these things. But man, we're here today. It's amazing. People are starting to show up, and the feedback's been unbelievable. Not only for the new playground, but for this event. So excited to see how it turns out.
After 2 years of performing, hosting, and reporting duties for ONTV, Kayla Brandon left Michigan to pursue her dreams in Washington, D.C. In July, she turned in her final story for ONTV News, and it was a fun one.
Today, many air travelers take the luxury and technology of modern planes for granted. But 85 years ago, passengers who were lucky enough to get a seat on the Tin Goose thought the aircraft took luxury to new heights. Henry Ford saw the potential for mass air transportation and created this tri-motor plane after World War I.
This particular airplane was built in August of 1929 and by the Eastern Air Transport that later became Eastern Airlines. As larger, faster, more efficient airplanes came along, this airplane was sold and went to Cuba to start Cubana Airlines, and from there went to the Dominican Republic, where it served to fly their chief executive around. It was their Air Force One. When it returned to the United States, it was a crop duster, a firefighter. It flew smoke jumpers out into the forest fire areas. And because the Ford Tri-Motor could land and take off in such a short distance, it could land at the mountain airstrips and bring the firefighters back out.
The plane was provided by EAA, a community of passionate flying enthusiasts. Passengers purchased a ticket, which helps keep the Ford Tri-Motor flying. The 15-minute ride traveled over Oakland County, and at one point you could even see the Motor City in the distance. With only 199 models of this kind in existence, and only a handful still up and running, this couple believes it's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I wanted to have a flight that, most people are never going to get to fly in a Ford Tri-Motor. So it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, pretty much.
Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah. Already did it again, so yeah.
How important is it for you personally to preserve the history of this plane?
Oh, it's extremely important. I'm a professional pilot and fly jets all over the world, and this is the roots that started aviation commercially.
So we're back safely on the ground, and I wanted to give you a closer look at what this plane is really made of. It's made of metal, which, if you can believe it or not, planes before this were made of fabric and wood. But this plane is as safe and reliable today as it was 85 years ago. Reporting at the Oakland International Airport, I'm Kayla Brandon for ONTV News.
The sound of horns filled the air Friday, August 1st during the 11th annual Big Rig gig at Friendship Park. Kids were invited to explore dozens of trucks, including emergency rescue vehicles, to help kids become familiar with the heroes in the community.
The idea came about is because I had a boy, my first child was a boy, and he loved trucks. And I was at a conference with other Parks and Rec people, and they were talking about this event that they had where they had trucks come out. So I thought, wow, I have to do that.
On Saturday, August 2nd, residents from northern Oakland County gathered in the village of Oxford to celebrate the second annual Lone Ranger Day. The Lone Ranger first appeared in a 1933 radio show on WXYZ Detroit. From 1941 to 1954, he was voiced by Brace Beamer, a longtime resident of Oxford. The event was filled with family-friendly fun, including live entertainment, carnival games, a classic car show, and of course, the day culminated with the Lone Ranger Parade. Families lined M24 from the Oxford Marketplace Shopping Center to Fire Station 1 to enjoy the parade. On August 4th, the Orion Township Board voted to approve the purchase of Camp Agawam, preventing its 135 acres from being developed and preserving it for future generations. Founded in 1918, the camp officially closed to the public in 2012, and the property was put on the market.
I heard that the camp was going to be sold by the Boy Scouts of America. And I thought it would be a real tragedy to have this real gem of our community just be apportioned and developed into another subdivision or something.
As summer began to wind down, residents of Lake Orion celebrated with one last big blowout on the lake and in the village. In its 6th year, the Orion Art Center's Dragon on the Lake Festival has become Lake Orion's biggest annual event. With a downtown art fair, dragon boat races, music, and fun for the whole family. ONTV's Victoria Craw was at the event. Here are some of the highlights.
Everyone is having a great time here on Lake Orion. As you can see, one of the teams just finished up one of the heats in the dragon boat races. But the Dragon on the Lake Festival is so much more than just dragon boat races. It's 3 full days of family-friendly fun in the village. The lighted boat parade kicked things off Friday night, August 22nd. At dusk, the fire-breathing dragon led glittering boats around Lake Orion. But it was more than just for show. Judges were looking for the boat with the best decorations, eye appeal, and overall creativity.
This is a little bit unique, so this is a great event for people to come out and see. It gives families a chance to decorate a boat and participate, and it's just kind of a fun event.
The fun continued Saturday with the 5th annual Lakeside Living Art Fair. Regional and national artists sculpting, painting, and creating, all in downtown Lake Orion. And of course, there was food with plenty of options for every palate. But the fair wasn't just for professionals to show off their craft. People of all ages took to the streets to take part in the Chalk Art Challenge, making the downtown area their canvas. Close by was the Kids Zone, entertainment, crafts, inflatables, and magic shows for the little ones.
This year's festival is awesome. I mean, we have been growing by leaps and bounds. We have more community groups than ever involved, allowing us to do more outreach to people. Of course, this raises money for the Orion Art Center, but it also raises money for dozens of community groups who we partner with, who are able to raise money for their own good causes, and that is near and dear to my heart. We at the Orion Art Center are the catalyst for that. We bring people together, and we love having a good time, but more than that, we love to connect people. And I've said it before, but you know, in this digital age, we need that more than ever, to have connections.
And finally on Sunday, the dragon boat races on Lake Orion. They're considered the premier part of the weekend. Each team was made up of 20 racers with at least 8 women. This year, 27 teams competed for the coveted Dragon Cup. Each team raced twice before the finals, and their times from their first 2 runs were combined to earn a seed for the final round. The stakes were higher than ever as teams came from all over the state and even from Canada. Heading into the finals, defending champs, the Island Bombers were in first place. But would the reigning champs hold on for the win?
A very close 125.42 seconds.
Yuck.
Culver's backpack. Yeah.
They did by a hair. With a final time of 1:24.63, the Island Bombers barely edged out the Culver's team to take home the Dragon Cup once again. So how do you prepare then?
We just do what we normally do.
We have a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun. We were down at the beer tent last night, you know, dancing, having fun.
But you know what? It's not about the work. It's all about the tune.
Yeah.
It's all about the tune.
Who's made up of your team? Like, how do you guys all know each other?
We are lake people.
Yeah, we're all lake people. The core is from the two islands, from Bellevue Island and Park Island. So I'm on Bellevue with some of the other people. Bill's on Park Island with some other people. So that's how we came up with the name Island Bombers, and that's what motivates us is the lake.
And as exciting and nail-biting as these races were, there was a sense of community that made everyone a winner.
You know, we raise money for charity, and that's great, but when we put all this on and you look around and you see, you know, 1,000 people coming together in Greens Park, 27 teams from not only all over Lake Orion, Oxford, Detroit, Canada, all coming together, and you see chemistry happen. And you see people get together that wouldn't normally get together, and you hang out, and it's a picnic and a party in the park, and it's something that we don't take the time out enough to do as friends and family, and get together and just do nothing but have a great time. And that I see that chemistry of the people and the friendships, the relationships. I see weddings happen. You know, future relationships happen here, and it is really, that is the true biggest reward I get. And the value, I see the excitement that people have about Lake Orion, and that is the most special thing to me.
And yes, you heard him right. There was a wedding. In fact, it was a surprise to the groom. Donna Miller dressed in a gown and had a minister waiting for her fiancé Dennis to arrive.
I decided about 3 months ago I was going to do this job. I asked him where he wanted to be married. He said anything I wanted. My Dragon on the Lake is where I wanted to be married. I want my boat in the picture, and I want to win. I want the trophy.
And even though Donna's team didn't win the Dragon Trophy, I think we can all agree that she came away with so much more. The event wrapped up Sunday afternoon with the awards ceremony. Jason Steve took top honors in the lighted boat parade for his Red Dragon. And named Best in Show for the Chalk Art Challenge was Kelly Finn, who created a beautiful masterpiece downtown. Now, organizers are already hard at work planning next year's Dragon on the Lake. Mark your calendars for August 28th through 30th. For ONTV News, I'm Victoria Craw.
September 11, 2014 marked the 13th anniversary of the terrorist attacks that changed the world. Police and firefighters were joined by citizens and dignitaries during a ceremony that featured prayer and song. A piece of the World Trade Center found at Ground Zero was on display as a tangible reminder. Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett was master of ceremonies.
I've been to many ceremonies here, and this one was just so heartfelt. I mean, the sing-along was I've never witnessed that here before. There's just so much pride, not only in our veterans, but our first responders in our community. Such a strong one. So, you know, every time I feel like, you know, the weather's cold, the turnout's gonna be low. I mean, it's just, people just come out. It's an amazing thing about our community.
A longtime Orion tradition continued in 2014 with Barn Days on Saturday, September 13th. ONTV's Monica Nowak was at the event and turns in this story.
What better way to kick off the fall season than with family and friends? Every year, Lake Orion residents gather together for family fun activities at Friendship Park, located in Orion Township, to celebrate Barn Days. Orion Township Jennifer Vesna explains the history of Barn Days and how it benefits the parks.
Barn Days started in 2001 when we moved the Port Barn to Friendship Park. That was the first year we held Barn Days, and it's just grown every year and become the celebration of the history of Orion. Well, first of all, it benefits the community because it brings families out, gives them something inexpensive to do as a nice family event. Any revenue that we bring in above expenses goes back into the system, and it covers some of our events that are for free, like the concerts in the park and things like that.
The event had all kinds of fun for the kids, including one of the popular rides for both adults and kids, the wagon ride. But this ride wasn't just like any other ride riding through the woods.
Today, if you take a hayride through the woods through there, you may find a couple of Yankees and a couple of Confederates. for a little bit, having a little bit of fun out there in the woods. We do all kinds of things. As you see, we love to get the kids involved. Dress them up and all that. They just love that stuff and get them going. We have all age groups. We have all little kids all up to old folks like me. We do it. We do this as a hobby. All these things, not all these are mine, but we own these, all this stuff. This is all period correct stuff made by using the same material and the same patterns that they did back then.
There are plenty of activities happening here at Barn Days. There's the games, food, and rides, and one of the most important features is the barn, which moved in August of 2000 and is still being celebrated 14 years later. In Orion Township, I'm Monica Nowak, ONTV News.
A dozen communities in Oakland County have joined together to form the North Oakland Household Hazardous Waste Consortium, or NOHAZ, to provide residents with a safe, reliable, and environmentally responsible way to dispose of household hazardous waste. On Saturday, September 20th, Orion Township hosted one of several events that take place throughout the year. Beginning at 8 a.m., it was estimated that 1,000 cars entered the park from Clarkston Road and patiently waited in line to dispose of chemicals, cleaners, paint, aerosols, and even expired medications. Employees of ERG, environmental, and additional volunteers were on hand to unload cars and sort the material. Later that day, Orion area residents didn't have to travel very far to celebrate the arrival of fall as Yates Cider Mill opens a new location on the grounds of Canterbury Village. ONTV's Brittany Werner has the story.
The grand opening is finally here for Yates Cider Mill in Canterbury Village, and it's been a great addition and a perfect fit for the community already. It gives families another great reason to visit Canterbury Village. For decades, Yates Cider Mill has been a traditional family business catering to the community throughout Oakland County. So it was no surprise that the local attraction decided to continue its legacy in Lake Orion, Michigan. Josh Miller talks about the history of Yates and why they're so excited to be the new addition to Canterbury Village.
Yeah, we're excited. We had our soft opening last weekend, but the Kids Fest is this weekend, and so we thought it would be perfect to pair up with that and be part of the community, be a part of everything that's going on in the festivities. We love Lake Orion. It's a huge community place, a lot of family, and that's exactly what we're about too. We're actually on the third generation of family who has owned Yates. The Posey family bought it from Yates back in, I think, '73. And so we're huge on family. We've got a lot of family that works here, a lot of different family members work together. So we love this community atmosphere. We're excited.
For the grand opening, the experience was amazing. With so many delightful and authentic treats to choose from, the locals had a hard time choosing what not to buy.
So what we offer, obviously the cider and donuts, but much more than that. We have the typical things that you would find at the mill, the cider, donuts, caramel apples, our fresh baked goods. Everything's freshly made here, from the donuts to the baked goods to our fudge. We have fresh cider that's squeezed at our main facility and then brought over. Outside of that, we also offer coffee, baked goods. On Fridays, we have apple fritters. So Fritter Fridays, yeah, that's the big.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love apple fritters.
Yeah, you can't say enough about them. So Fridays is that. Yep. So we offer a wide variety of things.
Now, as Josh said, Yates is all about family, loving the atmosphere, and community. And being that this specific community here in Canterbury Village is so beautiful, Yates gives families another reason to call it their own.
Lake Orion's a sweet situation because you got the lakes, you got the, during the summer, all of the parties and everything going on in the lakes. And then with the community and the family and having places to go and things to do, and us being able to be here and provide something else for the family to come and kind of call their own is something that we really cherish and treasure.
Wow, that's delicious. It's nothing like some fresh cider on a beautiful fall day. Now, although it's fall and it will be a busy season for Yates, keep in mind, Yates will be open all year round here in Canterbury Village. For more information, visit yatescidermill.com. From Canterbury Village, I'm Brittany Werner for ONTV News.
A week of planned homecoming events kicked off on Sunday, September 21st, with the homecoming parade in the village. Despite threatening skies, Lake Orion residents lined the streets of the downtown area on Sunday afternoon as Lake Orion Police Chief Jerry Narsh led the parade in the department's 1941 Ford police car. Representatives of the school district's 7 elementary schools and 3 middle schools joined high school students as they marched down Flint Street, turning right on Broadway. Last year's homecoming queen Brianna Anderson returned to lead the 2014 homecoming court. As announcer Lori Hogan introduced this year's court to the crowd, the skies opened up, soaking the participants and spectators, although everyone remains enthusiastic. On Friday, September 26th, the Dragons hosted the West Bloomfield Lakers during the homecoming game. Here's Kevin McCormick with highlights from the game and the ceremony at halftime.
The 2-2 Lake Orion Dragons varsity football team hosted the 3-1 West Bloomfield Lakers during the homecoming game. The crowd was fired up for the game, and a new homecoming king and queen were crowned, but the Lakers seemed to embrace their role as spoilers. With 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter, the Lakers find themselves in the red zone. Quarterback Trishawn Jackson takes the snap at Lake Orion's 15 and throws a screen pass to Navon Mosley, who breaks a tackle and finds the end zone. The extra point was missed, West Bloomfield 6, Lake Orion 0. In the second quarter, the Lakers are once again threatening to score. Backup quarterback Jalen Neely takes the snap and goes right up the middle for West Bloomfield's second score of the game. The 2-point conversion attempt failed. West Bloomfield 12, Lake Orion nothing. Following the score, the Lakers kick off the Dragons. On the return, Keith Fields crosses midfield to give his team excellent field position. But the Dragons had no luck moving the ball. Facing fourth down, the Dragons decided to punt. Michael King fields it at his own 12 and runs parallel to the 20-yard line. When he gets to the edge, he turns upfield and he's gone. 88 yards for the touchdown. Check out this block by Eddie Wilson that cleared the way for King. With just 16 seconds left in the first half, with the ball on Lake Orion's 5-yard line, Jackson finds Michael King in the end zone. The extra point was good, and the Lakers scored 26 unanswered points in the first half.
Michael King, quick slant, and Jackson hit him in stride.
The mood of the crowd turned somber as this stunning turn of events, but everyone was all smiles when the homecoming court was introduced to the crowd. Last year's homecoming queen, Brianna Anderson, returned to Lake Orion to crown the 2014 queen. She was joined by Dylan Seabold, younger brother of 2013 homecoming king, Tanner Seabold. After some mild drama, it was announced that Grant Johnson was named 2014's homecoming king, and Brianna placed a tiara on the head of Cheyenne Sloan, this year's homecoming queen. The pair hopped into a Chevy Camaro for a ceremonial lap around the track.
Dragon Stadium as our 2014 homecoming king and queen.
Pretty gosh darn exciting. I'm personally most excited about my super awesome tiara thing. Yeah, headpiece, good word. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. It was really cool. I didn't really think it would happen.
Grant, how do you feel about being king?
Excited, still kind of blown away that this is an actual thing that happened to me. Wasn't expecting it, but you know, go Nerds.
In the second half of the game, West Bloomfield went on to score another 13 points while Lake Orion failed to reach the end zone. The final, West Bloomfield 39, Lake Orion 0. We caught up with Coach Bell after the game.
You know what? It's they lined up physically and just whooped us. I mean, we could get nothing going offensively. You know, we hung in there a little bit defensively, but then once they got their athletes going, we did not do a good job tackling. We had some special teams errors. So yeah, it was not a good football game for us, and we just have to get back to work and start over and move forward. So I mean, they're a good team. They're a good team, and they physically manhandled us. That's all there is to it.
Throughout 2014, the Chamber of Commerce presided over numerous ribbon-cutting ceremonies, welcoming new businesses into the community. But on Thursday, October 2nd, the Chamber held a ceremony of its own. Following a luncheon held at 51 North Brewery in downtown Lake Orion, Chamber members were invited to walk a short distance to 46 West Shadbolt, where Chamber staff members have finally settled into their new digs.
Well, we were very excited to move to the downtown area so that we're in the hub of the community. It's very important for the Chamber to be visible, not only throughout the community, but physically as well. And it just made sense for our offices to be here in the downtown area. We also are growing very rapidly, and so that necessitated as well finding something with some more space so that we could host meetings at our office and be able to house the additional staff that we need to run the Chamber.
Later that evening, more than 200 women took part in their third annual Babes on Broadway event in downtown Lake Orion. At check-in, participants received bingo cards and were encouraged to visit each of the 26 businesses taking part in the event. As participants moved from business to business, they received gifts and trinkets along the way. Proceeds raised during the event benefited Haven, a nonprofit organization for victims of domestic violence and abuse. Organizer Marcella Costin told us it's also a great way to show off what the downtown area has to offer.
I think it does a lot more than we can imagine. I hear so many people say, I didn't know there were 26 businesses downtown Lake Orion. So that right there highlights a lot. And it also a lot of ladies who've never been in before, but their friends say, you've got to do this, you've got to come and see what's downtown. So it gives them a whole new perspective of what we have to offer in our village.
ONTV kicked off its first ever film challenge on Friday, October 3rd, and the response was tremendous. 10 teams arrived at the ONTV studio to take part in the challenge. The teams were assigned a special prop, location, and a random line of dialogue that had to be included in the finished film.
What's in the bag and why are you hiding it here?
A panel of 3 judges viewed each entry and awarded points for creativity, sound, and editing, among other criteria. All teams, their friends, and family members were invited to attend the Wildwood Film Festival at the Oxford 7 Theater on October 9th. The 77-seat auditorium was filled to capacity at showtime. The event also acted as a fundraiser for SOS, a high school group that helps teens in crisis. Voluntary donations raised almost $300 for the organization. After all the films were shown, the winners were announced. Named Best Film by the judges was Duty to Act, produced by the team known as Kotcha Lookin'. The film examined the responsibility of an individual to act when witnessing a crime in progress. On Tuesday, October 14th, representatives of the Chamber of Commerce gathered in the village to welcome a new business to downtown Lake Orion. Green Hippo Gifts filled a vacancy in a high-profile storefront located at Lake Orion's main intersection of Flint and Broadway.
It's an honor for us. So, this was something that a couple months ago we weren't even thinking about, and now that we've put in the hard work, it's come true, and people in the community are embracing us. Our families here supporting us, and so it's really important that all these people have come together to celebrate this day for us, and that we can be also now part of the Lake Orion community.
On Friday, October 17th, 100 children in colorful costumes attended Orion Township's 7th annual Boo Bash. Inside the Orion Center, families enjoyed cider and donuts, and children created spooky crafts. Outside, there were games in the parking lot, and families were encouraged to board a hayride for a short trip to a pumpkin patch.
We see a lot of families that come back year after year for this event. They love it. Oh, I love doing special events. I love getting a chance to see my events and actually see the kids and the looks on the parents' faces when they participate in something that I've gone through the effort of planning. It's great.
On Wednesday, October 29th, hundreds of costume characters assembled near the Eamon Center for the start of the Lake Orion Halloween Parade. Police Chief Jerry Narsh led participants down Broadway Street into the heart of the village. For more than a decade, area families have been taking part in the event. Once in the village, the crowd scattered to collect candy and treats from more than 24 businesses that stayed open late on this special night. Visitors were also encouraged to stop by Children's Park, where volunteers handed out cider and donuts in the gazebo. The event was organized by the Lake Orion DDA with the help of volunteers, the police department, and local businesses.
This event brings families out no matter if it's raining, sleet, a little bit of snow, wind, cold, warm. We always get a good turnout for this event. It's something that's really part of the community, and it's just become a long-standing tradition.
On Saturday, November 1st, community members and dignitaries gathered on a chilly afternoon in Friendship Park to officially break ground on a brand new playground. Let Them Play is a concept that came about after Lake Orion parent Christy Schoen saw a photo online of a wheelchair swing. Her son Xander is wheelchair bound, and she shared the idea with representatives of Orion Township. The township partnered with the nonprofit organization Sister Souls Incorporated to begin raising the $50,000 needed to make the playground a reality. We're told the official grand opening will take place in spring 2015.
Basically, about a year ago, I saw a picture of a wheelchair swing on Facebook. I mentioned it to another friend who has a special needs daughter, and Kim got wind of it, who is part of Sister Souls. And it kind of went from there, and she contacted Chris Barnett at Orion Township, and then everything blossomed from there.
We did a lot of research in the state of Michigan to see if there were any other public wheelchair parks, and we were unable to locate any. So when the moms and the township approached us, we really thought, let's team up here and get this done.
On Tuesday, November 4th, voters were asked to go to the polls to take part in the general election. Of Orion Township's 26,500 registered voters, just under 50% ventured out to cast a ballot in the general election. Lake Orion voters were asked to select candidates vying for positions for governor, secretary of state, U.S. Senate, and Congress. Voters approved a much-needed fire millage for capital and equipment with 54.7% yes votes to 45% no votes.
This is not a want, it's a need. I need the equipment for my people to make sure that they're safe going into fires and stuff like that. I need to upgrade my equipment when we have accidents and we can get people out of cars safely. And I need newer vehicles. I got vehicles that are very old right now, and they're costing me a lot of money to repair. So I need this equipment immediately to make sure that people are at risk.
Also on November 4th, more than a dozen volunteers from Home Depot arrived at Lake Orion's American Legion Post 233 to begin the work to replace 60-year-old glass block windows and install siding. The work came as a result of a $9,000 grant that was awarded by the Home Depot Foundation.
Whether it's giving back to veterans or just the community, it's really, that's what we do. It's what we live for. It's in our value wheel. It's our culture, is to give back and build those relationships with the community. So it's important that we give back to those that have served and have done so much for us.
On Saturday, November 8th, more than 200 members of the community gathered at Malash's Palace Chrysler dealership on M24 for the Lake Orion Lions charity auction. Those in attendance enjoyed a buffet dinner provided by Victoria's Delight in Oxford and were able to bid on 120 items during a silent auction. Some of the items were purchased by the Lions Club, but most were donated by area businesses. Another 25 items were up for grabs during a live auction, including a puppy. All the proceeds generated by ticket sales and auctions go towards the Lions Club Christmas Basket program.
My grandfather and my dad both were Lions members in Lake Orion, and I grew up with it, and I've always helped them with the Christmas baskets, and we were lucky enough to, not be on the other side where we needed anything, and it's great to give back to the community to make sure everybody has a great Christmas.
On the morning of Sunday, November 9th, a portion of Flint Street in downtown Lake Orion was closed to traffic for a very special photo shoot. More than 30 Orion Township firefighters arrived in full gear to recreate a vintage photograph that was discovered by the department's Chris Hagan.
I went through a box of old documents and found this really cool old photo taken right in the spot that's behind me. And the 8 years I've been on, we've never done a department group photo. So this is really important to me to do. I mean, it got everybody on board really quick. So it was just a cool photo recreation about 70 years later.
On Tuesday, November 11th, veterans and members of the community assembled at the Orion Center to observe Veterans Day. It was the second time a ceremony was held at the Orion Center. In 2013, the ceremony was quickly relocated from the Orion Veterans Memorial due to the poor weather conditions. This year, Orion Township partnered with representatives of the Veterans Memorial to host a moving ceremony that included musical performances from Lake Orion's high school choir and the North Oakland Concert Band's patriotic bands. The event was hosted by Community Program Director Lisa Sokol.
The main thing that we just really wanted to stress was how much we appreciate their service to our country, to recognize those who were no longer living that had served the country, and just the amount of services that we need to provide to veterans who come home, because they deserve the best that America can offer for the love and the service they gave to our country.
On Saturday, November 18th, the Lake Orion DDA welcomed another high-profile business into the downtown area with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. As the temperatures dropped, a Bean-to-Go offered pedestrians a quaint place to warm up.
I looked here 3 years ago, and the numbers never worked, and I've always been a believer in God that He would put me in an area where I need to be. And 3 years later, the same exact guy I talked to rent from came down where it would meet our budget, and here I am. I can't wait. Awesome area, exciting downtown. Everybody's been very welcoming, so it's awesome.
On Friday, November 21st, the lower level of the Orion Center was the site of the Beaumont Senior Health Fair. The event was free to the public, and seniors were invited to visit 10 different wellness stations that assess things like blood pressure, vision, nutrition, and more. Each participant was encouraged to take the results of the test to their own physicians.
Well, Beaumont really is a community hospital, and we're out in the Lake Orion. We have our Lake Orion Beaumont Medical Center, so we're a community hospital-based health center, and we want to be out here to offer people services. You know, in this healthcare reform, everything's about preventative, identifying things ahead of time before they become a problem. We want easy access. We know things aren't as affordable as they used to be, so this is part of what we like to do as community outreach.
On Thursday, December 4th, Orion Area Chamber members and staff gathered at Kings Court Castle for an awards luncheon. Staff board members and ambassadors were recognized, and several new awards were handed out for the first time. Named 2014's Business Person of the Year was Roberto Vecchi, General Manager at Buffalo Wild Wings on M24. Vecchi is also on the Chamber Board of Directors.
Roberto, since he came to be the general manager at Buffalo Wild Wings, has been such an amazing, integral part of our community. He jumped right in with both feet and got involved.
Lake Orion's, it's a very special community for me. For Buffalo Wild Wings, I've had the chance to work in several of their restaurants and be a part of several of their communities, but none have reached out like what Lake Orion did. There's a standing joke that I love dragons, and I didn't find out till it was a Lake Orion Dragons till about 2 weeks after I got here. People always joke, that's the reason why you're involved. No, it's not. I'm involved because I truly do love the community of Lake Orion. It's a great place, and I want to be more than a business. I want to be an active member of the community. So when people see, not just me, but Buffalo Wild Wings for years to come, will say, you know what, they're here to make our lives better. Not just for us to go and eat, they're here to be part of us. That's what I want to do.
The holiday season was officially ushered in during the first weekend of December with several major events here in the Orion area. Things kicked off on Friday night, December 5th, with the Holly Jolly Folly. It was the 8th year in a row that Galling Buick GMC has hosted the event, which acts as a fundraiser for the Orion Area Lighted Parade. The event experienced its largest turnout ever, with 400 people enjoying food and music. Ticket sales, as well as a silent and live auction and generous donations from the public and area businesses, not only raised funds for the parade, but went toward the Mark Turpin Scholarship Funds.
Well, I think the parade is like Dragon on the Lake. It's like the fireworks. It's like the Jubilee. It's all a part of community and coming together, doing some things. And the parade, I think, for me is really special because it is a nighttime lighted parade. And tomorrow night is a special night. We'll probably have 80 to 90 entrants in the parade. I've announced it for several years, and I can tell you that it's a pretty thrilling thing. And being around other towns in the Midwest, they don't put on a parade like we do. So I think it's a sense of community coming together. Lake Orion's a great place. Orion Township is really growing, and I think it's reflected in this weekend and what's going on here, both here and tomorrow night at the parade.
24 hours later, Lake Orion residents lined the streets of the village to enjoy the Orion lighted parade. The tradition began 19 years ago, and each year the parade gets longer and the crowds grow larger. Organized by the Orion Area Parade Group, the number of entries has swelled to over 60, including floats, bands, community groups, and dignitaries. The parade started at the Blanche Sims Elementary School and traveled down Florence Avenue in the village. This year's theme was Frozen in Orion, and the Grand Marshal was longtime Lake Orion resident Sandy Shepard, who was named 2014 Citizen of the Year by the Orion Area Parade Group for her work with the Lions Club, Oxford Orion Fish, and the DDA. A stage was set up at the intersection of Front Street and Broadway, where announcer John Cooper and Rockin' Ronnie provided commentary as the parade made a right turn on Broadway. Of course, Santa Claus ushered in the holiday season as he waved to the crowds at the rear of the parade. After passing through the downtown area, the parade came to an end at Eman Center, which was open to the public for the first time in years. The four-person group known as Legacy LO has purchased the historic building with plans to renovate it for residential use. They decided to quickly spruce up the gymnasium, where parade participants and residents were invited to warm up with Jet's Pizza and hot cocoa. The stage was decorated and children were able to visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus.
There's so much excitement behind this building, and there's so much curiosity, and we thought it was really important to let people in and see it, get it cleaned up, and to see the direction that we're headed. And that's a positive redevelopment for this building and breathing some more life into it.
Earlier in the day, children were invited to spend time enjoying cookies with Claus at the Orion Center. More than 85 kids pre-registered, with more families walking in on the day of the event. A wide variety of activities created fond memories for everyone in attendance. During the holidays, there is no shortage of community organizations that try to help families in need here in the Orion area. ONTV's Joe Johnson attended a special event just weeks before Christmas.
On Tuesday, December 9th, Lake Orion police officers were joined by military personnel and FBI agents at this Target store on Brown Road for the 9th annual Shop with a Hero event. Area children were given a $150 gift card and paired up with a hero. Wish lists were created over pizza, and then each pair went on a shopping spree in the store. 120 children took part, which is a record for this event.
And at Christmas time every year, Joe, it's very, very difficult for families that are struggling to make bills, be able to take the kids shopping. So every year we made a promise to the community that if people will donate, we will take every child that we identify that has a need in a family and take them shopping. It came about 9 years ago, and it was a local Lake Orion resident who was severely ill, and he wasn't sure if he was going to survive his illness, and he called me, and he handed me $2,000 in cash, and he said simply, "I want you to find children who, without this money, would not experience the magic of Christmas morning, and make their Christmas morning happen." So with that mission, I came back and I brought it to the other officers and staff, and we said, how can we make this grow? My staff dug into their pockets. The community heard about it and started digging into their pockets. I think that first year we took around 15 children, and every year it seems to double. It's just an amazing program. And the beautiful miracle to the story is this man got better, and his health improved, but yet every year for 9 years he comes in and matches that donation.
The organization Sister Souls partnered with law enforcement to make the event happen. They even created a giving table where children were able to use play money to purchase books and gifts for other members of the family. And it was the first time Target hosted the event after several years at the Meijer store in Oxford.
We had a wonderful run at Myers, but Target stepped up. We had 120 children, and they opened their doors and they said, "We're going to accommodate you." Now that's risky. They've never had an operation this big, and we can't thank Target enough. The staff, the management has been amazing. They provided discounts to the children and the families. A lot of the food and snacks was donated by Target, and they're a tremendous store, and we encourage people to come down and see what it's all about and reward them for their kindness.
They told us about it, but I didn't expect it to be this big. And just seeing the kids, it's just amazing what they've done, and all the little tables that are set up. I didn't expect any of that, and it's just really happy to do it here.
Why do you think it's important to open your doors to these children?
Because it's important that they see that we're supporting the community, that, especially where we live, the people like to see that we're supporting them here, and I think it's good for the kids to see this and the interaction, and I think it's a good relationship.
In Auburn Hills, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
On Wednesday, December 10th, art lovers were invited to attend the grand opening of the Orion Art Center's Holiday Market. Paintings, pottery, and jewelry created by local artists were available to those looking for unique and one-of-a-kind holiday gifts for family and friends. Celebrating its 14th year, the Artists Market was open to the public for 12 days, ending on Sunday, December 21st, and acts as a fundraiser for the Orion Art Center. Each year, the space is generously donated by Dave Sherman, owner of the building that also houses Diamond Dave Jewelers. And finally, volunteers came together on December 19th to begin the work of assembling baskets to help area families in need enjoy the holiday season.
I think that people are very surprised when you talk about the number of families that we are servicing or helping out. Because you just don't generally see that around town, but they're definitely in need.
This year's baskets will feed 150 families and 100 senior citizens in Lake Orion, thanks to the hard work of nearly 100 volunteers. The president of the Lions Club, Bob Erickson, says it's wonderful to see so many kids come out and help.
It's a good opportunity to give back. They come and see us play, and they help fund our program, and they support us in a lot that we do, so it's good to give back to the community.
We're a lot better off than a lot of people, so everything we can do to make their lives better is something good.
And with that, we'll wrap up our look back at 2014. On behalf of the hardworking staff, interns, and volunteers here at ONTV, thanks for a great and memorable year. I'm Katie Ciaramitaro. Happy New Year, Lake Orion.